You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
It's good to be back.
101 yards on the ground. Shotgun. Mayfield's going to throw for it, and he's got his man in stride. Sean Tucker breaks away for the touchdown. What a day!
Course with a rushing touchdown. He might do it again.
And does. Touchdown Bills. Back and forth we go in Buffalo.
And Hurts surfs over the top and is in for the touchdown. Officially.
You knew it first.
Yeah, what another exciting Sunday night football game that was last night. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Another awesome day of NFL action and Saturday great college football action. We're going to get to all of it, everybody. Good morning on this magnificent Monday. Thanks for checking us out on the Coastal Sports Network, awesome digital platform. Following me on X, on Twitter at PShep326, on YouTube, Kick, Rumble, CSD in Florida, LinkedIn, Instagram, on the awesome Odyssey app, and our SR1029thegame.com app as well. Call and text the show as always, 727-858-6650. What another incredible weekend on the whole of college football and NFL action. We'll sprinkle in, if we get to it, a little NBA and Stanley Cup action as Stanley Cup action. NHL action. Stanley Cup playoffs are a ways away. But anyway, good morning, everybody, man. I don't know if it was an exciting game last night. It was an interesting game last night as the Eagles win 16-9. More on that. The drama that started at the end of Thursday. Sal Pal breaking news. NBC 10 Philly had it first. And we're going to get into the meeting from the consigliere, Big Dom DeSandro, that he initiated on Thursday at practice. We're going to get into all of that. And the Eagles certainly responded defensively. Dan Campbell, I know what your identity is. I understand that. But sometimes you have to overcome, adjust, and adapt. You cannot go 0 for 5 on fourth downs, including that stupid fake punt. You can't do it. You can't do it. You played right into Philadelphia's hands. That defense is outstanding. And you want to talk about an identity problem? The Lions have an identity problem. You know why? They can't beat anybody good on the road. It happened again. They're a good football team. They're well coached. They can't beat anybody good on the road. The Bills Tampa Bay game might have been the game of the year as far as entertainment goes. I think there were 9 lead changes in that game. Incredible day for Tucker and for Tampa Bay. And Josh Allen overcoming somewhat of a shaky start. Passes for 3 touchdowns, rushes for 3 touchdowns, and absolutely a spectacular 44-32 win over Tampa Bay, and a bounce-back game. Bounce-back game for both teams. It was probably the game of the year thus far as entertainment goes. Absolutely fantastic. So we're going to get into all of that. We'll get into all of the NBA, college football. The new poll is out in the AP poll anyway as well. Still a lot of controversy out there. Alabama loses this weekend. Miami crushes NC State. USF loses at Annapolis, so their playoff hopes are going to be done, barring any major miracles. And Florida State wins against Virginia Tech. The Gators play Mississippi tough, as they always do, but they lose. And fans, the Gator fans who are at the game in Mississippi, begging Lane Kiffin to go coach the Gators. But I just don't think he's leaving. Anyway, with all of that, we say good morning in Tampa, the one and only Angel Martinez, after a beautiful weather-wise weekend down here in Southwest Florida. Absolutely perfect 10s. I'm sure it was like that up there where you are as well. Here in Fort Myers, it was just, majestic. It was beautiful. How are you, Angel?
Good morning, Pete. Yeah, that was the good thing about this weekend was the weather. That Drivel Fest was See if he did freaking boring nonsense
You
was
got
last
the
night.
win. You got the win, baby. Don't get caught up in sexiness. I audibled last night, so I'm giving myself the win because I had a really good week on my pigskin picks. Because I audibled you. This was before the game. I started thinking about who was not going to play. Once I knew Laporta was not going to play, and I just started thinking and doing a little more analysis about Detroit. Just doesn't win big games on the road. They just don't under this Dan Campbell coach team. And taking the fact and all the drama, I started thinking, you know what? They'll probably try to force the ball to Brown, but I don't think it's going to really matter in the end. It's kind of the kind of game I kind of thought would happen. I think it's a little low-scoring game. I mean, Detroit's averaging 31 points, but this Eagles defense was outstanding last night. It helps when the other team goes for it 5 times on 4th down and fails, and going 3 for 13 on 3rd down. Credit the Eagles defense. Besides that, the only thing that sucked about this game, Angel, was at the end. That pass interference call on Yason on A.J. Brown was absolutely Phantom-esque. It was ridiculous. I hate to see a game end like that. Now, the way the Eagles defense was playing, they probably would have made the stop more likely than not. But I hate seeing a game end on that because it was a victory formation after that for the Eagles, while Detroit seemed to be being able to take over a little bit. They would have forced a punt and they would have had the ball back. But that was an awful, awful call. Chris Collinsworth said it was the worst PI call he has seen. I think he said ever, which is debatable. But other than that, you got to be happy with your team overall. Nobody's. I mean, you look around the league, Angel, and you look around. Everybody's got, for the most part, everybody needs some tweaking here or there. We were texting before the game, and I was, during the first quarter, I was texting you. It just seemed like very predictable offense by the Eagles out of the gate, not very creative at all. But they did overcome, adjust, and they adapted better than Detroit. So an ugly win is an ugly win. You'll take it. You're still the number 1 seed. You're 8-2. But I'm sure the talk shows up there will be filled with, we can't keep playing like this. We can't keep playing like this. And I know that's the narrative, except you know what? They can, because they're one of the few teams that can win this way because their defense is so good. Anyway, I know overall you're disappointed.
Yeah, it's very disappointing because, listen, I said on Friday, I think I had a good recap on Friday when I said he's got 5 plays. When 1 doesn't work, go to 5. 5 go to 2, 2 go to 3, 3 go to 4, 4 back to 1. That's all they ever freaking do. It's so boring with Kevin Patullo. And I mean, I don't know. They need to have some sort of closed-door meeting with them and just shake them up a little bit. Like, what are we doing? Do we not have any other playbook? Can we go back to, I don't know, Rich Kotite days and bring up his dribbling?
What do you mean?
Because that's exactly what it is. It's just it's
That's like saying Satan.
but it's boring nonsense. I'll take the win. Don't get me wrong. 8-2. Yes, it's nice to still be that number 1 seed. Hopefully they can keep it like that because it would be nice to have the playoffs go in Philly. Not that it's a guarantee, but at least they're on the right track. But I also too kind of question Dan Campbell. Was it right for him to actually take over the plays? Because he looked more lost than what his offensive coordinator was up in the booth.
Yeah, more. Yeah, and this is where I don't want to take away. We do this all the time. We can fault Dan Campbell. Now the aggressiveness, and that's their identity. But you can't always have that identity. You got to choose and discriminate sometimes between when you're going to enforce your identity. And the fact of the matter is, they don't go win big games on the road. Go look at his tenure with Detroit. They're a very good football team. But they can't win big games on the road, which is why they're never going to get to the Super Bowl. Ain't going to happen. I shouldn't say it ain't going to. I said it's more likely than not. But I don't want to take anything away from Philly's defense at all because they were phenomenal last night. 3 for 13 on 3rd downs for Detroit, and they were 0 for 5, including the botched, the messed up fake punt on 4th down. So, maybe if a couple of field goals for Dan Campbell instead of trying to go for it, and the game's a little different. But I want to show everybody the play at the end of the game in case you missed it. And if we could scroll down, it's under awful announcing. Here it is. Chris Collinsworth saying what a horrible, and it absolutely was. If anything, it should have been a PI on A.J. Brown, but it wasn't. This should not have been called. It's 16-9 at this point. Philadelphia is ahead with 1 minute and 27 seconds left, and this happened.
Hurts throwing right side, incomplete, and a flag. flag for the contact with Rock Ya-Sin. And pass interference has been called.
Interference, defense number 23. Ball's placed as final foul. First down.
And that should just about do it. Let's watch it here on AJ.
Oh, come on. Come on. That is terrible. That is an absolutely terrible call that's going to decide this football game. If anything, it's an offensive push.
Eagles try to manage the clock here and close it out. Barkley inside.
Yeah,
4-0.
I hate seeing games in
Lions
like
will
that.
take their final timeout with 1:42 to go.
Yeah, and there's so much on the line in the NFL. Jobs, incentives, everything. You can't make horrific calls like that. Now, the way things were going, the Lions were going to mess it up because the Eagles' defense was playing so well, and maybe they don't score. But on the other hand, to take the ball away from them at the end of that game for that horseshit call, that's ridiculous. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. That referee should not be able to, he should be suspended and not be allowed to ref in the playoffs. That's terrible.
It was. By the way, good morning, Rick. Rick, this goes to show you how bad things were. He had to go to San Juan, a.k.a. Orlando, even though he calls it San Juan, Puerto Rico. But good morning, Rick.
All right. Meanwhile, let me get to some of the after the game. And then I got an interesting little segment that I'm going to need Angel's help with. Well, just for him responding. I'll take care of everything from my end. But I do want to, it's going to start with Thursday's practice. I think you'll find it somewhat entertaining. All right, so after the game, how about Jalen Phillips? Here's Jalen Phillips after the game. He's so happy to be an Eagle.
And you said that being part of this team was literally the best thing that has ever happened to you. You still feel that way?
Doubling down on that statement.
All right. Now, the game, the Phillies up 6-0, and then Jared Goff throws a brilliant pass to Jamison Williams, except...
Fake to Gibbs. Again in the middle. Jamison Williams on the run. Not going to get him. Touchdown. You are not catching him when he is taking...
But he's such a dumbass with a 10-cent brain. What does he do? They score the touchdown. He goes and dry humps the padding on the goalpost like a jackass. 15-yard penalty. And what happens? It ends up being a 48-yard extra point that Jake Bates misses. Would have put Detroit up 7-6. And who knows mentally what would have happened during that time. But that jackass with a 10-cent brain, he's very, very talented, makes it a 48-yard field. Now, Bates did go on to hit a 54-yarder later in the game. But it was so dumb in this day and age to do something so stupid like that. What are you, 10? You dry humping we're just off. This just absolutely dumb. Anyway, 16-9 Detroit. They go on to win. Here is Dan Campbell on the loss.
All right. Credit to those guys over there. They earned that win. They made the they made the plays in the critical moments. They're at the end to win it. So that's what they've done. It's proud of the way the guys played. I thought they played their tails off, played hard, man. I thought we finished plays, tried to finish plays. I thought we were disciplined for the most part. But just, defense, I thought really, really played their tails off, I thought they showed up, played championship-style defense. That they had to put out a number of fires there between the takeaways and the fourth down stops. But like I told them, man, but it's also you got the hot hand. You gotta beat them back one more time. And then offensively, 3 of 13, 0 on third down, and 0 of 5 on fourth down. We could not convert, and when you can't convert, that makes it very difficult. Felt like we were going to get in a rhythm after that second quarter. We started, we hit those explosives, went down, J-Mo scores, touchdown, and it felt like, all right, here we go. but just couldn't ever really get in a rhythm offensively. There's some calls I wish I could have gotten back. I didn't help those guys, and I hate that. I didn't help them. So, but that was kind of the story of the game.
All right, that's Dan Campbell. Let's hear from Nick Sirianni, and then we'll get into some interesting numbers from this game.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to ask what you think before that. I was going to ask the same thing.
Awesome. Those are turnovers in our mind. And really, really good coverage and rush together. Aggressive play by the front. Good matching in the secondary. It's a good football team, and to be able to go, what was it?
4 for 5.
Able to be, 5 for 5 the way we look at it. Outstanding.
Does that influence the way you make some of the decisions, in particular the fourth and one push when you know that you have the defense playing pretty well?
The defense played awesome. I got a ton of confidence in my guys, and our guys to go out and execute. Obviously, I'm going to be second guessing myself about the fourth and 1 in our own territory there. But awesome job by the defense holding them to 3 there. We got about half of it the play before. I thought we could get the other half right there. We didn't. So I have to live with that when we.
All right, Nick Sirianni. So interesting numbers in this game in case you didn't see it. Jalen Hurts only threw for 135 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. He did rush for 1, obviously, and had 31 yards on 10 carries. Overall, Saquon Barkley ran 83 yards, another average season for him. And A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith combined for 9 catches for 57 yards. They've scored only on a combined 26 points the last 2 games. Both of them, though, are wins, which, again, is the sign of a good team. When a couple of your best players are underachieving statistically and you're still winning games, that's still a positive in my book for the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, the Lions were averaging 31.4 points per game, failed to convert on 5 fourth down attempts and 3 for 13 on third down. Dan Campbell, you got to kick a couple times. You got to try for field goals there, or you punt. You can't keep doing that all the time. I know that's your identity, but your identity doesn't transform or translate into winning big games on the road because you haven't. Anywho, all right, Angel. So overall, what do you think of Mr. Sirianni's thoughts?
Next topic. I don't care about the dude. This one, I just don't care about the dude. I really don't. More of the same of nothing when it comes to Sirianni, but again, somehow the smack ass ends up winning side, whatever.
Okay, let's go to NFL Live yesterday, or whenever it was. What do they call that show? Countdown. NFL Countdown. Fairly early on, Sal Pal comes out. I don't know if you were watching around. I basically stayed in the house all weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I watched college football all day and all night, Saturday and the NFL all day and night. It just with the doors open and live. It was very a couple of walks with the dog. Other than that, I was all about football, notepads for me, and just enjoying the days. But Sal Pal breaks the news. Actually, NBC 10 had it first, which I didn't see on NBC 10 Philadelphia. But the Sal Pal said they had it first. Talked about what happened Thursday at practice, Angel, and I'm going to get through the whole thing, and then I get your response. Because we all know, and Angel's favorite person, Eagles security chief, Dom DeSandro, who I found out has about 5 other titles for his job. So now you kind of know why he's in the middle of everything, because he's got like 5 titles. It's crazy. But the Godfather himself on the sideline, Dom DeSandro, waves over A.J. Brown at practice on Thursday for a little meeting with Jeffrey Lurie during practice. Sal Pal said he's covered the team for 35 years, said he's never seen anything like it. So they waves him over, waves AJ over. You know, this reminded me of the scene in The Godfather where Barzini is the kind of mediator mentoring the peace between Don Corleone and Philip Tattaglia. And they get up and embrace, everybody clap. So Dom DeSandro, he's the Barzini in this scenario. You can make a case he's a consigliere too, like Tom Hagen. Anyway, team sources told Palantonio that it marked the first time any of them could remember DeSandro facilitating a meeting on the field between Lurie and a player. And he's worked for Lurie for 28 years, often attends private dinner meetings between Lurie and the players. The practice between Lurie and Brown, which was first reported by NBC in Philadelphia, occurred one day after the Pro Bowler elaborated on his frustration with the Eagles. Yada, yada, yada. In the end, Mr. Lurie said, hey, you don't have to apologize to me. You don't have to apologize to me. And there was the peace. But that is something that you just don't see. And at least that maybe it has happened, you just don't hear about it. But Dom DeSandro making the peace between Jeffrey Lurie. And Jeffrey Lurie just told, all Jeffrey Lurie told A.J. Brown to do was, don't be so negative on social media. You know, don't criticize the team on social media. Try to get away from that. So apparently there were hugs and kisses at the end, and all is well. So, Maestro Dom DeSandro, who's got like 15 titles on his name, which I did not know. I knew he was a security guy, but he's in charge of this, in charge of that. Now I know why he's so prevalent, all these Eagles games. Anyway, he initiated the piece. It didn't translate to big numbers for A.J. Brown, nor for Smith, for that matter. Like I said, they just combined for like 57 yards and whatever it was, or 73 yards, 8 cat, whatever it was. It wasn't great. But I will ask our resident huge Eagle fan, Angel Martinez, what did you think of the role played by Dom DeSandro in all of this? Healthy, happy, worthy, glad that he did it, or don't care?
I don't care. I don't care that Big Tom decides he wants to take the 50,000 roles that he have and pull them. This isn't a movie from The Godfather. What the hell is wrong with him? You don't take AJ off the practice. Mr. Lurie, AJ, come see The Godfather. Come talk to him, will you? What is it that you want? Hey, come on. It's enough. They're making such a big deal about it. Who cares? AJ called out the people he needed to, which is the entire O-line. He never said Jalen, never said Devontae, never said Dotson, the entire O-line. And he was 1,000% right in doing so. And I will stick up one in a few times that I will stick up for AJ. And even if he has another meeting this week with Don Corleone and everybody else in between, I don't care if it's Dom DeLuise at this point. It's just dumb as all hell. It really is. They're making such much to do about nothing. And who cares? I want
something because, you know, when Sal Powell, who's covered the team, says, I've never seen anything like this for over 3 days. I mean, it is definitely newsworthy. Now, did it really need to happen to clear the air? No, at the end, the pair concluded the meeting, like I said, with a hug, and the wide receiver returned to practice. So maybe this was just, now it's all water under the bridge, and we'll take it from there. Now, is Dom's meeting or setup meeting between Lurie and A.J. Brown the reason why the Eagles won? Hell no. That's not the reason why they won. But maybe he decided to do this, Angel, because maybe the friction was a lot worse than we knew about, and he felt like he had to intervene.
I don't know, probably. But my thing is, listen, I don't, one thing, let me get this clear before Eagles fans go bananas too. I do not hate Big Dom. He does a lot of great things. I applaud the man because he does do a lot for people, a lot for the community. I mean, he has a huge heart, and his ego is not big. It just drives me nuts when every time there's a camera pan somewhere, there's Big Dom. But besides that, was it really needed? No, it wasn't needed. This stuff gets handled in the locker room the way it's supposed to. Jalen still cannot, and this is something that Jason Kelsey continues to preach about him. He cannot read the D-line. He can't. And I wish Jalen would just come out and admit it. Like, listen, I need to do a lot more homework. I got married this past offseason. I was focused upon that.
That's what it is. Blame the woman. Blame the little woman. Blame Mrs. Hertz.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna blame her for it, but
Well, you know, being get married, my wife with all these distractions, and Jesus, you know.
yeah,
Focus.
there's a ring, there's flowers, there's all kinds of stuff. No, it's just to me, it's like Jalen needs to start reading the defense a lot better. And and I get it if he does, he's not too much focused upon that, but you also can make Jalen. And I heard Chris Collinsworth say this. You had mentioned this before too. Like when Jalen runs, is it a better outcome? Yes, but at the same time too, you don't need your quarterback banged up. You really don't. And Jalen is a great individual, really good quarterback, but he's still a lot to learn. And there's times, I think personally, if Jalen feels like there's a better audible that can be called at the line, do so. Just, take the initiative and be like, you know what, screw it. I'm calling audible right here. I think this ended up working. But Saquon, we saw one good burst out of him for 12, 14 yards, and then back to 3 yards, 4 yards, 2 yards, minus yards.
And really not even close. If not for his exceptional talent, a lot of those would have been losses. He bullied his way to 2 and 3 yard gains on some of those where a lot of running backs would have been stopped for a loss. So it's really an enigma. And we know the offensive line for the Eagles isn't as good as last year, and I understand that. But I got to tell you, all they do is beat good teams, particularly at home. They just do it. It might not be the prettiest thing to look at times, but you look at, the Bucks have a hard time winning there. The Rams had a hard time winning there. The Lions have a hard time winning there. I mean, it's tough. It's very tough. So with that being said, can they keep playing like, and no one's saying that. Let's give Detroit's defense a little bit of credit too, as well, because they, this was a much lower scoring game than I would have thought. I did have the Eagles in the end, as I told you before the game. I switched my pick from my pigskin picks because I factored in everything, and I said Philadelphia minus 2.5. I'm taking them on the money line, which I did, and they won. But give Detroit's defense a lot of credit here too. I look, if you're looking at teams that have an identity problem, I'm looking at the Lions way ahead of the Eagles. The Lions have to do some serious soul searching when they're not playing at home and when they have to play big games on the road. They got a lot of talent. I know Laporta didn't play. I know a couple other guys were banged up, but a lot of players are banged up as well. And Dan Campbell has to figure something out. If they really be a serious Super Bowl contender, because they ain't there right now. They're not there. They're a good regular season team, but they got to find a way, if they're not playing at home, how they're going to win big games on the road.
Yeah.
So I think their identity crisis is you can say their identity is being aggressive, and I respect all that and everything else, but you can't keep playing like that on the road in a hostile environment where field goals are big, and that jackass, Jameson Williams, I don't care how talented he is, I would have benched him for the rest of the game. That was so stupid to do what he did, dry hump the goalpost at the end, and it cost you an extra point, which in this day and age would use. And you saw the conditions last night, the windy conditions, it made a difference. Maybe not as bad as it was in Cleveland or how it was in Buffalo yesterday, but nevertheless. By the way, speaking of playing their asses off, Baker Mayfield, he's fucking crazy. I don't know how he does it.
Yep.
And he played an outstanding game yesterday, and they just went up against a juggernaut in Josh Allen. I mean, 6 touchdowns. We'll get to that game in a second, but there were 9 lead changes in that game. That was the most entertaining game of the year, by far, the most entertaining game of the year.
It was. I think the last thing I'll leave off for the Eagles is that Lane Johnson. That's it.
Yeah.
You got to hang him up. You have to. I mean, it's too many injuries. Yeah. After he got busted for obviously doing a little performance enhancement there. It's either the ankle, the knee, the hip. There's something going. You got to start finding a replacement for Lane Johnson. I love the guy. Thank you for helping us win Super Bowl championships. But at the same time, too, you got to learn. I mean, how much do you want to be busted up? And I don't care about Aaron Rodgers, whether his wrist is broken or not. Steelers fans, you get what you get. But as far as Lane Johnson, you have to start looking at someone at the right tackle position and just saying, all right, you know what's going to happen here? What do we need to do? Something's got to go on because he can't make a full season. And if you're going to go deep into the playoff, you need to put somebody in there now that's going to help this O-line get better because Lane Johnson, he can't. Everybody knows this, but whatever. Again, this is Jeffrey Lurie's problem, and he leaves it to Howie. So I'm not even going to blame Jeff for this one. Howie, who gets himself more and more involved with his team, He did some good trades coming up at the trade deadline, did as much as he possibly could to help out the defense, especially now when we need it. But you got to find somebody to replace Lane Johnson. You just have to.
Yeah. And let's not forget, the Lions were also without all-pro safety Kirby Joseph yesterday. That's his 4th game, I believe, straight game that he's missed. That's a big loss. Real quickly, and then I'm going to move on about the Big Dom situation again. What I don't understand is why it had to come to Big Dom calling over A.J. Brown. Why didn't, like on Tuesday or Wednesday, why didn't Jeffrey Lurie call A.J. Brown into his office and say, hey, let's get to the bottom of this, here and now? Why? That's what I don't understand. Why did he have to be on the field during practice? And why did Dom have to call A.J. Brown over? Shouldn't Mr. Lurie have called him into his office last Tuesday or Wednesday and said, let's end this crap right now and let's straighten this out? Just weird to me that it took place on the field. That it took place on the field and not in Jeffrey Lurie's office.
Because I think Big Dom just overstepped his bounds. He just thought, you know what, screw it. Let's hash this before the game starts. Because Jeffrey Lurie, everybody knows, he's had plenty of meetings with other players before. And a lot of times it doesn't even get out until years after the guys are done with the team or they retired to something else. He'll pull them in and talk to them. Hey, what's going on? Is there something upsetting you? Did you get married? Is that, throwing you for a curve? What about your kids? What's going on here? But, it's usually handled a lot better. So if this was an overreach by Big Dom, dude, just stand on the sideline. Just escort people wherever you need to escort them. If you need to be a greeter, go greet people. Whatever you need to do, just stay out of the business when it comes to what Jeffrey Lurie does best. So I don't know. I'm telling you, more and more Big Dom is starting to get more and more of my big nerves.
Oh my goodness. All right, okay. We'll take a break in a little bit, but I want to get to some more NFL action from the weekend. The Chicago Bears and Minnesota Vikings, very, very interesting ball game yesterday as well. The Bears were up 10-3 at halftime. They're up 16-3. J.J. McCarthy and company, he played okay. Not great, but he played okay. But he played well in the fourth quarter. And just a couple highlights from this one. Here is, here we go. Here's J.J. McCarthy after being down by double digits, brings them back.
Here's McCarthy. Looking, firing, end zone, it is caught! Touchdown! Addison!
Let's go nuts!
Mayshawn Wright just doesn't expand with the motion. He gets caught up with Justin Jefferson, and JJ throws a fastball to kind of the back shoulder of Addison.
Yeah, and Tom Brady there mentioned Justin Jefferson. That's the reason why Addison scored. Great block by Justin Jefferson. So it's 17-16, right? And except right after that, the Bears run it back on the kickoff, a huge, huge play, and it led to this.
Proud of the guys. 7.
Oop. That's not what I wanted to play. It led to this.
Santos puts it up, and it is good! The comeback kids, Chicago Bears, do it again!
Oh, yes. What's that? 5 comebacks this year. They've won by a score. They beat the Minnesota Vikings 19-17. Minnesota's 1-4 at home this year. 1-4 at home. Unacceptable. And the Bears are in first place in the division. Here's Ben Johnson after the win.
Proud of the guys. 7-3. That's nothing to scoff at. And as ugly as it can be at times, this group's just proven time and time again that when it's close there in the fourth quarter that we're capable of finding a way. So first division win on the road, and really proud of the guys for how they fought there at the end. So open it up from there.
Just like life in Jurassic Park finds a way. The Bears, Angel, find a way. Here's head coach Kevin O'Connell for the Vikings speaking on the game.
We knew coming into the game that this team had won all of their games by winning the turnover margin, and we lost that 2-0 and did a lot of things that did a lot of things as a football team to try to battle and continue to overcome the adversity that we kind of face in many cases, caused by ourselves and just some certain aspects of the game today.
All right. Meanwhile, here's J.J. McCarthy on processing the adversity.
JJ, you had so much success in high school and college, and you have some bumps in the road here now. How do you process kind of the adversity that you just face on the field here now?
I think adversity is one of the greatest things for individual growth, collective growth, whatever it is. And, I think it could really separate teams or bring them tighter together. And I feel like this team's being brought tighter and tighter together each and every week. But, we're just sick of losing. Like, we want wins every single week. And, we're just going to do everything we can to make sure we get those. But adversity is inevitable in this league. I understood that coming into it. And it's just about how you respond.
Look, basically, it's his rookie year, obviously. He was 16 to 32 yesterday, 150 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. But he did have that nice drive at the end in crunch time to put the Vikings up, and the special teams of the Vikings let them down. That's the reason, one of the reasons why they lost in the end. Jones had 70 yards rushing for 16 yards. On the other side, Caleb Williams, 16 to 32, 193 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Swift had 90 yards rushing on 21 carries. But 19-17, the Bears 7-3 in first place in the division. Vikings fall to 4-6, 1-4 at home. All right, interesting game yesterday between the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. This was another one where the Ravens and Lamar Jackson is playing funky to me. Some people say like trepidation, that he looks frightened, actually. It's weird watching him play, but they overcame, they adjusted, they adapted. They beat Cleveland 23 to 16, and this was an unbelievable play at the end. This is how they did it, coming back, and this put them ahead for good.
Push himself. And is Andrews under center on 4th and 1. Andrews spinning away, and there he goes! Andrews all the way! Touchdown! What a call by the Ravens! Patrick Ricard leading the way for Mark Andrews, his first career rushing touchdown.
Charles, Todd Monken is in his bag, is what the young kids would say. And John Harbaugh said to us, you always have to reinvent yourself. So we talked about their struggles on short yardage. A week ago, Mark Andrews gets under center. He hands the ball off to...
I mean, what a call. Really, what a call. Looked like it was going to be a tush push with Mark Andrews, and he bounces off the right guard and goes 30. That was an unbelievable play. But in this game, Angel, because Dylan Gabriel got hurt, so Shedeur Sanders, who we found out after the game from Kevin Stefanski, had not taken reps with any of the first teams since training camp. And it was, Angel, if we could scroll down, I have the video highlights of him. It was an absolute, it's under NFL memes. It's right under the show. Here is Shedeur Sanders yesterday. It was an awful debut, but I got to cut him a little bit of latitude. When you say you're coming in and you haven't had practice and snaps with the first team since training camp, I mean, this is what happens. This was awful.
Down and 8. Pressure coming off the edge. Sanders in trouble, and he is dropped. Ball came out late. It was Kyle Hamilton. 3rd down and 10. Sanders takes a big hit, and he's picked off. Intercepted on the play. And back out on the field. Sanders rolling right. Throws, almost intercepted again. Help Judge get downfield himself. Sanders standing in the pocket way too long and throws it away. Sanders, pressure coming, spins away, keeps it alive, throwing to the end zone, and it's incomplete. He had a man down there, Isaiah Bond, down and 8. Pressure coming off the edge.
Yeah, okay, so overall, 4 of 16, that's a 25% completion percentage, 47 yards passing, no touchdowns, an interception, 2 sacks, a fumble, 1 intentional grounding, a 13.5 passer rating, 6 net yards on 16 dropbacks. And somebody figured it out. This is the truth. If he had spiked the ball on every single play, his passer rating would have been up to 32.5 instead of 13.5. Seriously. But disastrous debut for Shedeur Sanders. I got to cut him, Angel, a little bit of latitude. When you find out after that he has not had practice with the first string since training camp, I mean, it's going to be disastrous. Now, Dylan Gabriel, I don't know how seriously hurt he is. If he's out of concussion protocol, he'll be the starter next week because he's been struggling also. I'll give Shedeur Sanders credit after the game as well. Pretty classy about his debut.
Yeah, when I got out there, I definitely felt them. And, I'm truly thankful for it. And I'm just thankful that I'm out here. I'm thankful for the opportunity, thankful for seeing all them 12 jerseys out there. And it was a great feeling for that. But the feeling of losing, that ain't nothing we're going to get comfortable with, like, on my watch, for sure.
Yeah, well, he'll be back to the bench for him if Dylan Gabriel can play. If not, I think it's only fair, right? I mean, look, if he was doing that well in practice, first of all, he wouldn't have been relegated to fourth string to start the season. And I'm sure he's not as bad as he looked yesterday. I don't know what he's going to be. But if Dylan Gabriel can't go and he gets a week of practicing with the ones, then we'll see what happens. But he looked like absolutely lost out there yesterday. Absolutely, completely lost. All right, Angel, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, more NFL highlights, some college football highlights as well. Denver is a 4.5-point underdog, beating Kansas City outright 22-19. The Dolphins winning in Madrid. And a whole lot of other great games yesterday as well. We will get to the Buffalo-Tampa Bay game, which when we come back, we will start right there. It was the most entertaining game of the year. Jay Flanley at 8:05 this morning from in Ann Arbor. His Wolverines eked out a win at Wrigley Field against Northwestern.
Sure did.
Barely at the end. We'll get his thoughts on that. And the College Football Playoff Committee will vote tomorrow, but the new AP and coaches poll are out. We'll get to that as well. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Monday. Phil Castanetti, Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles, so get on down to the Phil Castanetti Sports World, 184 Broadway in Saugus. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus, be there. And for the best articles in audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. The staff combing through the best articles in audio so you don't have to. Sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them. info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. More NFL and college football highlights coming up next here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
Send in motion to the left. Takes the snap. Now a 4-man rush. McCarthy to the end zone. And caught! Yes! Jordan Addison! Just in the nick of time. And we're tied at 16. He's J.J. McCarthy. Well done. You got to give it. Santos puts it up, and it is good! The comeback kid, Chicago Bears, do it again!
Made 4 today. Lutz in the clutch, and the Broncos have won it.
Another awesome day of NFL action. Thanks to CBS and Fox for both of those calls. K-Fan with the call there. Great call there for Addison's touchdown, except they lost right after that because the Viking special team sucked down the stretch, allowed the Bears on a huge comeback, and then Cairo hit the hit the field goal. And Denver over Kansas City, 22-19. This was a great game. Historic for Travis Kelce.
3rd and 6. There's the pass. Caught, breaking the tackles, Kelce, and Travis takes it to the end zone. What an effort by Travis Kelce.
Sets the Chiefs' all-time touchdown record with 84, breaking a tie with Priest Holmes, and he and Taylor Swift were sure celebrated, even in the loss. I'm sure they celebrated together last night. Here's Bo Nix on beating the Chiefs.
Bo, for the way that last year's game in Kansas City ended, for you guys to come out and win the way you did tonight, what does it say about the type of team that you have, and what do you think you guys proved tonight?
Yeah, it was ironic. It happened the same exact way it feels like. We just got a resilient team that just believes we're going to win. And at the end of the game, when it's close, that belief goes a long way.
Yeah, it does. For the game, very, very entertaining game. Some of the numbers for you. Bo Nix yesterday was, get out of there. God, why are pop-ups allowed? You know what? If something pops up on my screen that's an advertisement, I won't go. I won't go. It's like people with kiosks, and even it's getting worse now that it's not Christmas. Here I go off on a tangent. And Sebastian Maniscalco has a great comedian, has a great thing, calls them, huts. I've been talking about this for years. If you have a kiosk and you approach me, I will run away. Don't attack me to buy your stupid keychains, perfume, exotic soap from Belgium, whatever the fuck it is. I don't care. If I want it, I will come to you. Do not approach me, you kiosk idiots, and throw your shit at me. It makes me want to go away. I will not buy your product. Pop-up videos that pop up on my screens. I don't care who you are. I don't care. I won't use your product. It's that simple.
Hang on. Speaking about a tangent, that just popped into my brain as well. Other than, I got to remember one thing. So I'll keep my finger up to remember it. But the other thing, too, it used to be, now I'm glad it's gone away. But I remember when we used to get the phone calls, Mr. Sheppard, did you know that the warranty has expired in your car and you can extend it for blah, blah, blah? That was more annoying. But I wanted to get your take because Disney is back on YouTube.
I meant to bring this up because it happened on Friday night around 8:30. I look at my phone because I was monitoring some scores, and all of a sudden it said, there it is. So I clicked back, and it was there immediately. The local ABC affiliate was not there until the next morning. That I saw, or later that night. It had to be after midnight. But yes, YouTube TV reached an agreement with Disney, blah, 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 all that bullshit. So saves me the hassle of having to switch over to Fubo. I also found I got my $20 discount. Plus, I found for you YouTube subscribers out there, go into settings. You have to do it on your laptop or your phone. You cannot do it through the TV. You have to go, they make you, it's just such a pain in the ass. But you can get another $10 discount for the next 6 months off your YouTube TV. So now instead of paying $93.83 a month, I pay $83.73 a month. So that's there for the taking as well. It may not seem like a lot, but it's something. These bozos finally figured it out.
Yep.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I have my ESPN app, which I cannot stand. I hated the way it's set up. I hated the way it navigated. The quad box on the ESPN app, I don't know about the rest of you, sucks. It doesn't. It wasn't working correctly. I don't have to worry about that anymore.
No, is that a 5-year deal?
What?
Was it a 5-year deal?
You mean with YouTube TV?
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal was. I just know it's
back.
It's back. I have no idea how many years.
Oh, so with that, by the way, did they bring back the stuff that you recorded, or are they still?
Oh yeah, yes, they did immediately. Everything was like it never left. So I'll give them credit for that because I was afraid of that too. Everything I've ever recorded was there. So all good. But again, for you YouTube TV subscribers out there, go to settings, go into your account. You can't do it off the TV. You got to do it through a laptop or your phone and get the extra, not only get your $20 back, but it's still good. They're still saying you can do it, but you can get $10 off your bill for the next 6 months, I believe. So take advantage of it. All right, Bo Nix, 24-37, 295 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Denver did not run the ball particularly well either. Harvey had 30 yards and 11 carries, his long of 7. McLaughlin had 19. So, I mean, it was a very defensive, ugly type of game. The Broncos are very tough at home. They are tough. I think that's 11 in a row they've won at home. Patrick Mahomes, 29-45, 276 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Kareem Hunt only rushed for 59 yards. Did have a touchdown as well on 13 carries. Kelsey had led the way for the Chiefs with 91 yards on 13 carries and a touchdown. But the Broncos chewed up the final 3 minutes. They drove 58 yards in 10 plays, won their 11th straight in Power Field, where they haven't lost since October of 2024. And that's the 3rd straight time they've beaten Kansas City. How about that? And they would be the number 1 seed right now. Patriots would be the number 2 seed. And Indianapolis would be number 3 right now if the playoffs started today. Miami and Washington, this was a ho-hummer. This was just blah, 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 blah. Came down to overtime, and Washington had possession first.
Mariota pumps throws, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Jack Jones. On the first play from scrimmage in overtime.
Took a former Patriot to get the Dolphins in scoring position, and they did. And the Dolphins, in overtime, get it done.
Ollie Patterson, 29-yard attempt for the win from the left hash. It is straight through. The Miami Dolphins win it in Madrid in overtime.
Yay! The only thing that was good about that is I had the Dolphins -2, and they got it done. So nice to start off with a little profit at 9:30 in the morning. Here's Mike McDaniel on Jack Jones.
You know, there's all sorts of stories like that littered among NFL team. That one's pretty special because, you know, he's had some adversity and had an opportunity here. And, you know, we talked about it right when he came in. He came, hugged me, and thanked me, and I thanked him because you can't change the past, but you can recognize an opportunity, one that it was his to take on, but the recourse of failure was probably the end of his career, and he knew that. So,
all right, whatever. They did a nice piece this week on him and Dan Quinn, and when Mike McDaniel was. I don't think he was a borderline alcoholic. I think by his own, he was an alcoholic, and Dan Quinn really helped save him. So that's a nice feel-good story. But nevertheless, the fact that Washington that was a mass unit. I mean, would they have 22 players that were started at the beginning of the year were not there? It was a hideous game. It really was. It wasn't very exciting until the very end. This game was exciting though. Carolina and Atlanta.
From 28, and Carolina has won.
They did 30-27. They get the job done. Buffalo and Tampa Bay. This was an absolute barn burner. This was such an awesome game. And let's pick it up in the first quarter.
Allen does it himself. Touchdown, Buffalo.
All right, so that made it 7-3 in the first quarter. Let's head on over to the second quarter.
Now in his 3rd year with the team. On a give for Tucker. Tucker's got blockers. Tucker is going down the sideline, and Tucker is gone. Touchdown, Buccaneers. Tristan Wirfs' key block.
Yeah, what a game for Tucker. 106 yards and 2 touchdowns on 19 carries. He was spectacular. There's a lot of great highlights. And like I said, there were 9 lead changes in this game. Let's go down to another Tucker touchdown in the third quarter.
Tucker in the backfield, give it to him. Tucker taking it to the outside, and Tucker has got it for the touchdown. Monster.
Yeah, and he was not done because he can catch the ball for a touchdown, too.
101 yards on the ground. Shotgun. Mayfield's going to throw for it, and he's got his man in stride. Sean Tucker breaks away for the touchdown. What a day.
Yeah, it was. Also a great day for Josh Allen.
Of course, with a rushing touchdown. He might do it again. And does. Touchdown, Bills. Back and forth we go in Buffalo.
And he wasn't done.
3. Allen is going to keep it. Josh Allen inside the 5. They're going to push him in. Pay dirt. Touchdown, Bills.
Yes, he had rushing touchdowns of 2, 5, and 7 yards for Josh Allen. He was outstanding, as considering he threw 2 interceptions and threw 3 touchdowns as well. It's just a phenomenal day. Baker Mayfield had a nice day as well. So tough. 16-28, 173 yards, a touchdown and an interception. As you said, Tucker rushing for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. Baker rushed for 39 yards on 5 carries as well. And they were tough, grind them out yard. Never goes head, never slides. It's always head first. At one time, he looked like he was bent into a pretzel. It's unbelievable how tough he is. Tough loss for them. Go ahead.
Would you say, Pete, that you have Drake May and Baker Mayfield as 1-2 for MVP?
No, I think no. I don't. Baker might be top 7. I think you got to put Daniel Jones in there with Baker Mayfield, yeah. Daniel Jones, and Taylor. They're running back. I think it's Drake May and Taylor right now, and then Daniel Jones not too far behind, who also is going to be up for comeback player of the year. Again, a lot of football left to be played. Yeah. Here's Sean McDermott, head coach of the Bills, after the game.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you what, you guys earned that win right there, man. Toughness, grit, playing together as a team. Nobody will know the time you put in. Nobody will know, but it paid off, man. That tested us. You know it. And we knew it was going to be like this. And you showed them how tough you were. Showed them how tough you were, man. I'm really proud of you. The key right now is we got to get ourselves back fast. Right? So Thursday night game, I know the tubs are open, training room's open. Take care of yourselves. We're going to need all the energy that you got Thursday night.
All righty. And yes, Thursday night it is, because that is when the Buffalo Bills will be hosting the Houston Texans, or they visit the Houston Texans on Thursday night. They escaped with a win yesterday as well against a bad Tennessee team. Bucs play at the Rams next Sunday. And speaking of that game, Cam Ward, he got on the board with a touchdown. Oops.
2nd and goal.
That's not it. Where is it? I had it. Oh, here we go.
2nd and goal. Ward rolling, throwing, catch, got it.
The end zone. Van Jefferson and a Titans touchdown. A drive.
And tied the game late at 13, but in the end, it was the Houston Texans winning 16-13, and we do not have the game-winning. Don't have the game-winning field goal. But anyway, see, you have to take my word for it. 16-13, Houston wins down the stretch. Green Bay and the Giants. Remember, I audibled on this game. Ended up being a push. You know, when I factored in the new coach, Kafka coming in, the interim coach, and Jameis Winston starting for them. This is a really good game yesterday.
Robinson in motion. Give it to Singletary. On the cut, penetrates and scores. What an opening drive for the Giants behind Jameis and company.
Jameis and company. Is that a scotch? Sounds good. Wow. So it's 7-0, and then the Packers tie it up.
3rd down again. Willis holds on. Willis rolls and throws, and it's snatched for the touchdown by Watson. First of the season for Watson, back from the knee injury.
What you talking about, Willis? Of course, so you know that was coming. Anyway, so it is 7-7. Let's head to the 3rd quarter.
Love, drop back, wide open man. It's the tight end Josh Wiley. his second game with the Packers, and he's got the touchdown to give them the lead.
20-13, they had another touchdown pass, Love to Watson. That rated 27-20, and that was the final score. After the game, Jameis Winston said he was grateful to be starting yesterday.
How did you feel out there, your first start?
So grateful, man. I was so grateful. I really wanted to win for these guys, man. How we dominated the line of scrimmage, man. We ran the ball effectively. We did some good things in the passing game. Cav did an incredible job calling this game, man. I really wanted to win this one for us.
All right. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, 34-12. The Steelers win over the Bengals. This was close for a little bit. But here is a little something that happened inside the game.
Foul. Defense number 5.
Well, that is a first down.
Number 5 has been disqualified for throwing a punch.
And he just got it before. He just got...
Yeah, so he's kicked out. They said he threw a punch, so there's 2 penalties which would be kicked out for, but now they're saying...
So now they're
throwing a punch. So
he's second defensive back.
Wow, that's...
All right, Gene, you're watching it all unfold with us.
Correction, 15 yards out of first down.
So right here... Go ahead, Gene.
Yeah, sorry, Trent. I heard Govinovich just say correction, 15-yard first down. I don't know if he is saying now that he believes that's an ejection or not. I'm not sure.
No, he did.
Just kind of clarified that.
He said ejection because of a punch thrown.
And he's not off the field. Yeah. An assistant coach has now got him and trying to usher him off and into the locker room, as you can see the aftermath. So Ramsey is gone. Nichols... The nickelback is in. Brandon Eccles comes back in the game after he was injured. Ramsey will leave. And so now that safety position takes another hit. And they're going to have to kind of maneuver some players here. Chuck Clark has come in at the safety.
At the top of the screen, watch here. You're going to see Ramsey. He takes the left hand, throws a punch to the face mask, but then rips at the face mask. Ultimately, Jamar Chase's helmet comes off.
Now, Angel, if we could scroll down for the video under Emmanuel Edshow, you will see why there was a punch thrown here. Disgusting display by Jamar Chase. You may not have seen it, but this is how it went down.
Yeah, pretty disgusting.
It does not matter if you are a football fan, you have to watch this. An absolute brawl breaks out in an NFL game today because one player who threw punches suggests he got spit on. Here's Jalen Ramsey.
He spit on him, so it's up. I don't give a fuck about football after that. Respectfully.
Apologies for the language, but Jamar Chase then says, I ain't spit on nobody.
Did you spit on him? Did you spit on him? I ain't never opened my mouth to that guy.
Here's the problem. There's 4K cameras. 4K cameras. Jamar Chase got caught spitting on him in 4K. Absolutely despicable. One of the most egregious actions you can commit. He gotta be punished. It does not matter if you are a football fan, you have to watch this. An absolute brawl break.
Absolutely will. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers, at 41 years old, injured his non-throwing hand wrist at some point in the second quarter. It's unclear exactly when he was hurt. And we'll find out more about that. The Steelers will go on to win by a score of 34-12. And finally, before we get Jay Flannelly in here from Beeves World, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I thought they would win this game as a 3-point underdog at home against the Chargers, and they got to them pretty good.
Fake the pitch to the end zone. Tim Patrick and the Jacksonville Jaguars starting to flex.
Yeah, they did. A game that they needed to win after that historic allowing 26 points last week to Houston was awful. They came back. Trevor Lawrence was very good yesterday, 14-22, efficient, 153 yards, a touchdown, and an interception as well. And the other side, Justin Herbert couldn't get out of his own way, 10 of 18 for 81 yards. It was almost like, and he also led the team in rushing with 21 yards. And it's just one of those games where Jim Harbaugh team didn't show up. Absolutely did not show up. All right. Thanks for checking us out here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network and across our awesome video platform. Follow me on Twitter at PShep326, across YouTube, Kick, Rumble, CSD in Florida, LinkedIn, On Instagram, the Odyssey app, SR1029 The Game, and call or text the show, as always, 727-858-6650. Jerry says, good morning, guys. Watched a lot of red zone and football on Sunday. Other than that Philly defense, I don't see anything that the Patriots couldn't compete with. Well, yeah, there's a lot of football left, and I kind of agree with that. With that, we say good morning to Jay Flannelly, and I got to tell you, for you, we'll start with your Michigan Wolverines in Ann Arbor before we get to the Lions, and wanted to get your thoughts on where your heart was. Was it coming out of your throat during that last, I don't know, couple of minutes? Wait, I can't see him up there yet. Okay. I see him down below, but I don't see him up above. Is that a good thing? Jay, you're frozen? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, reset. I can. He's going to reset. Yeah, reset, Jay, please. There you go. When in doubt, reset. Right?
Or whip it out.
That's a perv. Anyway.
It's the oldest, dumbest thing ever.
All right. Well, Jackson, let me see. Let's hear Liam Cohen is being a complete win for his team.
You know, we came out from the beginning, executed, just it really in all three phases, obviously as a team, but offensively, I just thought, it started with being able to run the ball efficiently and effectively. I thought Trevor was playing really well, especially, just fitting the ball accurately, especially going through a lot of progressions, getting to the number 2 or 3 or 4 read in the progression a few times. We were good in the red zone, solid on third down. Didn't have all those self-inflicted wounds, that we have kind of been hurt by in weeks past. I thought the guys just executed and played their tails off.
All right, good win for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Rhode Island native Liam Cohen. Anyway, okay, now I think we can welcome in Jay Flannelly from Beesville. Can we not, Angel?
Sure can.
There he is. Well, 4 of the last 7 games, as we talked about a little bit on Friday, every time, for some reason, when Michigan and Northwestern play, it's close. It's usually a one-score game for whatever reason. Now, Northwestern's probably done that with a few other teams, too, in the Big Ten that you wouldn't necessarily think. But 4 of the last 7 decided by 1 score or less. But how nervous were you down the stretch?
Well, because of the situation with Dom in Wrigley Field, and this is something I talked about with the players before the trip, the stadium being a different scenario for us, it was very strange, a lot like the Giants game yesterday.
Windy.
Yes. And once it was a very weird game because we dominated the game and had the ball. It was like 500 yards at 250.
It was.
Dominated the game. I thought it was Bryce Underwood's best game. And, but he threw the 2 awful interceptions in the fourth quarter.
Which is why
you don't have an 18-year-old be your quarterback. But that's a whole other story for another day. But, I wasn't that concerned. I have a lot of respect and good feelings with these kids and this group of kids. So I wasn't that surprised. I'm glad for Dom because he's a really good player. He missed a 50-something yarder. Was it 60? What was the one he missed?
Yeah, it was 61, I think.
And the one he missed earlier, there was a snap and hold thing.
Yeah.
So he's fine. I mean, he's going to play in the NFL. Hell, if you watch a lot of the kickers, I say, could start for about half these friggin' teams. But How
about your 18-year-old freshman wide receiver from Katy, Texas? How the Longhorns let him go?
Mr. Marsh.
12 Andrew Marsh, the 18-year-old, 12 receptions, 189 yards, the most by a freshman. Do you know the last time a freshman had that many yards? Guess what year?
Give me the year, and I'll tell you who it is.
1979. It said 199 were the most by a Michigan freshman since at least 1970. He became the Wolverines' first freshman wide receiver with multiple 100-yard games since this
Anthony Carter.
In 2009. In 2000, since this man did in two. So listen again. He became the Wolverines' first freshman wide receiver with multiple 100-yard games since this man did it in 2009.
2009. Roy Roundtree?
Yes. Yep.
There you go.
Very good.
And 79, Anthony Carter?
It doesn't say here.
It's Anthony Carter. I can almost
I'm
guarantee
sure
it's Anthony Carter.
Yeah.
Anthony Carter had every receiving record ever here when he was playing. And that's who they had in 79. That was 79 year was the first year they didn't have Rick Leach. Rick Leach started for 4 years, from 75 to 78. And then they had Johnny Wangler, Rich Hewlett, and B.J. Dickey. They had 3 quarterbacks rotating. It was a mess.
Yeah. Yep.
But Johnny Wangler ended up winning the job the next year, and that was one of the greatest Michigan teams ever. They lost their first 2 games, and then they won every game. And that was a team, if there was a playoff back in 1980, they probably would have won it. They were awesome.
Yeah, Michigan moves up in the AP thing to number. Well, actually, they stayed put at 18, and
which is about where they should be.
Yeah, and they still get a chance to play for the Big Ten. There's a lot going on. We'll see where this.
Well, I'll say this though: if you, I don't know if I've talked to you about this. USC has to lose again for Michigan, no matter what Michigan does. For Michigan to be in the championship game, and I've explained this to all these people, and they look at me like I'm a Martian. Who do you think's telling me these things? The players and the coaches, you schmucks. So the USC game, losing because they lost the tiebreaker to them because they lost.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Notre Dame. We lost to Oklahoma. That's our non-conference losses. Then they beat us. And we lost to USC. Obviously, it was probably the worst game we played all year.
You know, I would normally agree with you, except I don't trust this committee to get anything right because they say the eye test.
No, I'm talking about the Big Ten championship. I'm talking about getting to the Big Ten championship.
Yes, you're right, record wise and all, and all that stuff. It's just.
If we win out, if we win out, we're going to make they're going to put us in the playoffs just off of name recognition and beating Ohio State again. Because, that will get a little publicity. We'll start showing Ryan Day looking around going, what happened again? And so that's the whole thing. We got to obviously we're going to get through this game. We lost another running back. Jordan got hurt, but he's probably going to be okay. And we're down to our backup, our walk-on running back. That was the kid who won the game at the end of the game with the couple conversions on short yardage. But, we just got to get through this game and bring on the Buckeyes, and we'll deal with them.
USC is at Oregon this week, and then
Okay, they're going to lose that game. They'll lose that game, and that's what we need. That's what we need to have happen. Go Dan Lanning and friends.
Yeah, possibly. I don't trust that Oregon team because I don't think they're very good.
I don't either. I just have to believe it, Pete.
No. I think USC. That's what I mean. I think USC can absolutely win that game. No question about it. Like I said, just in the AP poll of voting alone, and not that it matters, the college football playoff rankings will come out. But here's again, they apply standards to like Miami and a few other schools with the eye test about how they play. There's no way Texas A&M should, by their standards, should still be a 3 after that debacle against South Carolina. No, I credit them and the character and the heart and Elko signing the extension and all that. I grant them all of that. And I'm not saying, if I were me personally, I don't drop teams because of tough conference wins. I don't think you have to blow out everybody. That's just me. But this committee, Jay, doesn't think that way, and that's what aggravated to me. Indiana. Okay, they
played really well against a gritty Wisconsin team who has a really good defense and the 4th or 5th quarterback.
But Texas A&M just stays there at barely hanging on to win. I mean, great comeback and all of that stuff. They play Notre Dame. I told you, Notre Dame 2 weeks ago moves up a spot, and they barely hung on to beat a crappy Boston College team. And they move up a spot. I just think certain.
Well, they played good. They played well this weekend. Notre Dame did.
No, I'm not taking anything away from what they did this week.
So that's my point is, who would you have at 3? Because you're going to have Ohio State and Indiana 1 and 2, right?
I'm just saying I might have moved Georgia up to 3. I might have moved
That's a good point.
But I mean, it's it's sort of semantics, but it aggravates me because trust me, if Miami wins 31-30 after being down 30, they drop 5 spots. That's what happens.
Well,
Texas A&M and South Carolina State, they're terrible.
They fired their coach after the game. They fired Beamer after the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's just chaos. No, I think Miami's going to be when the college football playoff rankings come out. They're going to be there. They don't have to win the ACC championship to get to the postseason. They're the highest rated team. They're going to. They just did a win out. They took care of business. They clobbered NC State like they should have. They moved up in the AP rankings a little bit, but Oklahoma beating Alabama. Oklahoma moves up 3 spots to 8. The Texas Longhorns, and there's still people out there like Texas Longhorns. There are still people out there, and they dropped the most. They dropped 7 spots down to 17 in the AP, and there are still those people out there with 3 losses, including a horrific loss to a bad Florida team in the swamp that think they can. And Florida plays Mississippi tough, so I'll give them credit for that. Lane Kiffin finally beat them for the first time in a while. But the Texas Longhorns, those out there, these SEC snot rags that think they're still going to be. They're not getting. I suppose they beat Texas A&M, which I think is a long shot at best for that happening. Because I think Texas A&M got a wake-up call. So the Texas Longhorns, the most overrated, overhyped team I have seen in college football the last 25 years. They now sit at number 17 in the AP poll and 18 in the coaches poll. So that's going to be
and Arch Manning to the transfer portal, not the NFL draft. So
you think that's
I'm being completely serious, by the way. There's no way Texas is going to pay him what they're paying him. They will invent a way, and he's going to get out of there.
Will Sarkisian will be at Texas next year? Will Sarkisian be there next year?
See, you're connecting Jay's dots. Jay talked about this happening about a month ago. It's like multiple phones, multiple sources, multiple calls. So it's how these things happen. And when somebody tells you I want to coach the Tennessee Titans, that's like the bottom of the barrel. That's like you're at the bar at 1:45 in the morning and you start looking what girls are left.
Unless they're paying him a shitload of money. With that owner, that nut job with Skunker, whatever the hell her name is, she's an awful, probably the worst owner in the NFL. Probably the worst.
Which is an achievement to say that, by the way, considering some of the schmucks that run these teams. And we talk about a lot of them.
Did you hear the chants in Mississippi for the Gator fans that were there after the game?
No, I did not hear this.
They wanted Kiffin. There was just, we want Kiffin.
Okay, yes. I don't think he's going to take a college job, Pete. I think he's going to stay at Ole Miss and go to the NFL.
I think if there's anything, the only NFL team I see him going to maybe is the Giants with the Jackson Dart connection.
Because of Dart.
Yeah. But I seriously, I just go back. I keep being redundant about it. I go back to that Marty McGee interview, 30 for 30. I just think he and his wife are
hot yoga stuff. Yep.
I think they're very happy where they are. I don't think he's going to uproot his family to move for the job.
Well, here's the thing.
I don't know. He could be totally bullshitting. I don't know.
I don't think he is. I think
the money's going to be there. The money will be there for him.
And the cost of living there is nothing.
I don't know if he's motivated by it.
Here's the other thing. I think there's almost always an NFL job that opens up that we don't know is going to open up. Or we're not thinking about it opening up. Obviously, I think Sean McDermott's an idiot. And I would fire him tonight, the Bills coach, even though they won yesterday. I think he's a schmuck. They're winning in spite of him and because they have Josh Allen. He's a defensive coach and their defense stinks. He could get fired. So go to a team that has a stud quarterback. Josh Allen. Suppose Andy Reid retires. I don't think they want to elevate Steve Spagnuolo because he's like a career defensive coordinator. He's the Norv Turner of defense. And Wade Phillips and guys like that. There's another team that has a really good quarterback that could potentially open up. Angel will know more than I do. Maybe the Eagles get rid of Sirianni's act. They got rid of Doug Peterson. He won a Super Bowl. I don't know. And they're not going to – I don't think they're going to promote Fangio. Angel and others want the offense coordinator fired, so I don't think there's another guy on that staff that's really setting up there to be good. I don't think Mike Vrabel's going anywhere.
No. I tell you, Mike, who might be going.
I'm just going for all the good quarterbacks.
Well,
no, I love bringing up that Mike Vrabel isn't going to leave because you know what college team that hurts, by the way.
No, but I tell you, Mike in the NFL that could leave if things keep going. And I know they won yesterday, but Mike Tomlin to me is still going to be on the hot seat because I still think the Ravens are going to overtake them.
I think he's going to get traded.
I
think he's going to get traded. I think they're
making the playoffs. I still don't think they're making the playoffs. I think the Ravens are on a roll.
We're waiting for the medicals on A-Rod. Supposedly broke his wrist.
Yeah, it was not throwing it. Wait with it. Patch it up.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Has anybody done that? I'm trying to think, Pete. Remember when Bledsoe broke his finger and he played with it for about 2 games, but it was
I was there. You could see it. It was the metal
pin. Yes.
I'll tell you, it was one of the most gutsy performances I've ever seen in my life for a quarterback. I have to go back to 1978. He beat the Patriots. Dan Pastorini played, and then the next game they played the Steelers, I think. But Dan Pastorini, I think, played with a broken, a fractured leg and arm at the same time. It was one of the remember that? It was one of the gutsiest things I've ever seen. I mean, obviously, it wasn't like a compound fracture, but nevertheless, he played with 2 busted bones.
Jack Youngblood. Yeah, like Jack Youngblood. It wasn't like Lawrence Taylor or Joe Theismann.
I know Earl Campbell was on the team and Renfro and all those guys, and they were very well coached. Obviously,
Robert Brazil.
Bud,
Curly Culp. Wade Phillips. No, Bum Phillips. Bum
Phillips. One of the most colorful characters in the history of football.
Oh, today he would be everywhere. Commercials everywhere today.
Oh,
Bum
my
Phillips
God.
on commercials everywhere.
But Dan Pastorini, that was one of the gutsiest things. Also, Phillip Rivers against the Patriots in the 2007.
07 with the ACL.
Well, Danian Tomlinson took the day off because he was such a pussy and just sat and played one series and then sat. And Phillip Rivers playing on a broken leg, basically.
Torn ACL. Torn
ACL. And gutted it out in a very, very tough Patriots AFC championship. I think it was like 17-9. And the Patriots at the end with Lawrence Maroney, one of his best games he had as a Patriot. They ran out the last 9 minutes, just ran out the clock.
It's like 27-17, I think was about the score it was.
I don't even know if it was that high.
The final score was like 27.
I don't
like
even know if it was that high, but I don't know. The Patriots ran like the last 9 minutes off the clock with Lawrence Maroney and company and that offensive line. All right. Speaking of
when Lawrence Maroney first started, when we'll talk about the Lions in a minute. Trust me, I'm going to dust a lot of people when it comes to them.
Well,
but when Lawrence Maroney first started playing in 06, I thought he was going to be incredible.
Everybody,
remember his first game when he came in?
I remember
just running. He just
when he was in Minnesota,
off the field stuff.
I thought it was a steal.
With Barber,
he had
Barber there.
Moments. He had a couple moments with the Patriots, but other than that,
off the field stuff. Stuff.
Just
okay, let's dust the Lions. That's why I'm here. That's why you bring me on to line up the bowling pins.
Well, no, I mean, you can't. I understand the identity of the Lions. What I don't understand is sometimes you have to adjust and overcome and adapt, and you can't go for it every time on 4th down. I know you like to be aggressive, this, that, and the other.
So you're talking about Dan, and that's one of the people.
You can't go 0 for 5 on 4th down, including the busted fake punt, and you can't.
That's Jared Goff.
And you can't go 3 for 13 in 3rd down situations. I don't want to take anything away from the Eagles' defense when I say this, but. The problem with your Lions team up there is they don't win big games on the road. They can't beat anybody good on the road, which is why
the quarterback's weak.
That's why they're never going to go to the Super Bowl.
Because the quarterback's weak. I mean, I tell you this all the time.
He's not weak at home. He's weak on the road.
No, that's my point. Front running player and players. There's 3 major reasons why they lost last night, and they're also the 3 biggest reasons why the Lions have turned things around. Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, and Jared Goff. Those are the 3 biggest culprits why they lost last night. Brad Holmes does not realize who his quarterback is. That's Jared Goff. He needs an offensive line. He makes Bernie Kosar look like Michael Vick.
By the way, speaking of him, he's having a liver transplant today.
Right, at 5 a.m. this morning. Praying for Bernie. That's a very big reason why I wore number 19. I love Bernie Kosar.
Oh, great. Me too.
And hopefully he's going to be okay. So Brad Holmes did not address the offensive line when he knows that he has a statue playing quarterback. They have a backup offensive lineman. They moved over to center, who's overmatched. They have a rookie at one guard who's okay. And the second-year player from Boston College broke his leg.
Yep.
That's your interior O-line. They're against Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and all these other Eagles studs. Tyler Decker, the left tackle, is on his last legs, literally. His shoulder's falling off. He's battling through trying to play. and he's been hurt in and out of the lineup. And then you got Penny Sewell at right tackle, who's all world, and I hear about how great he is. And every other game I see him, he's getting beat by some edge rusher. I have to look at what number he is. So that's the guys blocking for Jared Goff, who say it all the time. Not a winning high-level player. He's not a super athlete. You have to be able to evade and make broken plays. He has to wear gloves when it's like 40 degrees. I can't believe this guy is – I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, playing with gloves when it's 40 degrees.
Right, but
and accurate. And he hears windows, and he has ghosts in his head. He starts missing and airmail and balls. He was terrible. And I'll defend him on this part. His binky is Sam Laporta, and he was out last night.
You ruined my mind. I was just going to ask you that's a huge. He was out last night, which is usually.
He's been coached for Bledsoe basically back in the day.
And Kirby Joseph, fourth straight game. That's a great play you have at safety, not playing in that game also as well. But it's still.
And then Brian Branch doing Brian Branch things, and he's not smart enough to know he's being targeted by the refs.
But there's a.
And they should, by the way, should move off Brian Branch. Because they foolishly paid JMO, which they never ever should have done. And I mean, the other part of the Brad Holmes screwing things up is he traded up to get a third wide receiver. He gave up 3 third-round picks to get a third wide receiver who doesn't even play in the games. That's the Tesla kid. So this team is bad. It's bad. The reason why they're bad compared to what they've been is bad because Brad Holmes has made bad choices, and Dan with the going for 4th downs instead of kicking field goals, that's kind of his identity. But as you said, you have to adjust.
Yeah, look at your environment.
Look at the game situation. Yes.
Look where you are playing. 100%. Sometimes I get all that, having a great identity. I understand all that. And then that fucking bonehead last night, Jamison Williams, it ties the game at 6.
They never should have paid him.
He has relations with the freaking goalpost. And there goes a 15-yard penalty. And unfortunately, Jake Bates, who made a 54-yarder later on, but missed a 48-yard extra point with that win. Absolute 100% stupid. I would have benched that son of a bitch for the rest of the game.
I'd sit him next week. I would sit. J-Mo doesn't dress next week.
And I'm not saying that extra point would have mattered, Jay. I'm not saying going up 7-6.
Oh, it did matter. It did matter, Pete.
I think it mattered I think it would have mattered psychologically. And you don't know how it's going to affect Jalen Hurts and something like that. It was just at this, where you are. I mean, just absolutely, just stupid. Absolutely stupid. You got to be better than that.
Knucklehead. He's a knucklehead off the field. He's a knucklehead on the field.
I don't remember pulling that shit with Nick.
They just paid him.
Yeah.
They just paid him. They just paid this fool.
Do you ever remember him acting that way at Alabama? I don't.
Well, do you know anything of his story? Basically, he was never going to play at Ohio State because he had a million other wide receivers, and Bill O'Brien took a chance on him. Bill O'Brien had him and Michie at
Alabama. Yeah,
Michie's on the Jets now. Mm-hmm. Had him, and remember, JMO had the big game against Georgia in the SEC championship game where they beat them in 21.
Yep.
And then he broke his leg in the second game. He tore his ACL. Excuse me.
Yep.
And then the Lions drafted him traded up to draft him, and he's done nothing but get in trouble. Stupid, silly shit. Like gun charges, not having permits, just dumb, stupid shit, which the stuff he does in games. And they foolishly paid him. They're going to probably either lose one of 3 guys because they just paid this fool. Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell, who's the best player on the team last night, and Brian Branch, who they should trade. They should trade Brian Branch.
Mm-hmm.
They will lose at least one of those guys. They might lose 2 of them because they paid J-Mo. And because they just paid Aiden. They already paid Elaine McNeil. They brought back Derek Barnes. They paid Kerry Joseph, who you mentioned. But again, you can't be this stupid.
No, the other thing, though, I will say, in the Alliance defense, that call last night was
pass interference.
Was horrible. One of the worst offensive one of the worst pass interference calls ever. If there was anything, it should have been on A.J. Brown. I just hate and look, the way that game was going, the Eagles probably would have stopped the Lions anyway. But I hate to have to end the game that way, where the Lions they should have gotten another chance. One last drive, and they didn't get it because the officiating once again comes into play. Absolutely god awful at that. That would have been a horrible call at any time in the game. But for that to be the last call of the game, basically, and have the Eagles just run out the clock, that sucks.
Yep, and the refs tried to go out of the way to help the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are so bad they couldn't be helped. So, it's it's God, that helps. Makes me so happy to see them stinking.
They're not going to make the playoffs.
Oh
right
no,
now.
they. And by the way, the Lions aren't in the playoffs now either anymore. By the way, look that up.
Well, I know, but they're the Bears are first place in the division.
Yeah, where'd that coach come from? By the way, the Bears coach.
Detroit.
Did somebody leave the Lions, and the Lions are kind of?
But we always, but we weren't. We always say about offensive coordinators leaving. What he had with the Lions was very different than when he was going to the Bears. But I got to tell you, he's done a great job.
What was the first thing? Okay, Pete, I'm glad you brought that up. Let me say it.
But that Bears team has won 5 games when they've been trailing and won by a score. That says something.
Okay, but let me add something to this. And as I just dusted Brad Holmes, what was the very first thing Ben Johnson did when he got to the Bears? What position group did he address, Pete?
But I don't know. I don't remember.
The interior offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Thuney, and Dahlman. Yep. Well, did the Lions do that?
No.
How's that working out for Bernie Kosar Jr. playing quarterback?
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it looks like they do, and then other times it doesn't. But when they are bad,
when they play, and by the way, here's another thing: they didn't draft Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yet they draft J-Mo, who's an idiot. So let's be consistent. And please do not defend J-Mo. Please, I've seen enough. I used to watch Terry Glenn. I watched Antonio Brown. I used to yell at a certain person about having him on his team. And God, did he learn quick. When he's walking out in the middle of a drive, literally walking out, taking his clothes off. Okay, so when you have an idiot receiver on your team, sooner or later it's going to come out. You notice how all of a sudden Jamar Chase is acting up because he's tired of being on his shitty team.
Yesterday, spitting at Ramsey. That was awful.
I know.
He's going to get suspended. He's getting suspended.
Yep.
Good. He won't play against the Patriots on Sunday, which would be good. Get him out.
Well, I mean, you might be better off with him playing because that team stinks.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Sooner or later, when things go big or bad, you're going to act up. I mean, look at what Angel and Eagles are dealing with. A.J. Brown every other day. He's screaming about something. So I cracked up. He's in commercials now. He's got commercials now. I think what commercial he's on. He's on a stationary bike.
Thank God for Big Dom DeSandro playing Barzini from The Godfather. Calling Brown over at practice on Thursday, and that little powwow and straighten everything out. And Laurie's saying, "You don't have to apologize to me. Just don't go on social media and rip the team as much." Yada yada yada.
Then he did it again.
Didn't do a whole lot of good. As far as their numbers went overall, I still think they were trying to force him the ball too much last night at times. But
I also think, Pete, part of that is the Lions' defensive back situation. They have a lot of injuries. So I think, like you mentioned, Kerry Joseph and Terrion Arnold and a couple other guys are out. So, DJ Reed.
The Lions' defense played well. I mean, you can't say they didn't play well. I think Saquon Barkley was tough 83 yards because he made 2 and 3 yard gains when most running backs would not have gotten anything. Because of the Lions up front. Just interesting play calling. But if the playoffs did start today, Broncos in the AFC, Broncos will be the number 1 seed. The 2-7 match will be the Patriots hosting Jacksonville. The 3-6 would be Indy hosting the Chargers. And the 4-5 would be the Steelers, who won't be there, hosting the Bills. In the NFC, the Eagles still the number 1 seed. San Fran at the Rams. That'd be a hell of a matchup. In the 2-7 matchup, the 3-6 would be the Packers at the Bears. Who doesn't want to see that for a third straight time in the season? And then the 5-4 matchup, Seattle at Tampa Bay. So interesting. A lot of football left. A lot of football left, but nevertheless interesting to see where everybody is right now. So it's the adjustments I'm interested in the adjustments for the Lions and for Philadelphia, for that matter, if their offense is going to evolve. But the problem with hating on the Eagles. Every team has their problem. They just keep winning, and they just beat good teams at home. They it might be ugly. It might be ugly, but they win.
That's how they play, by the way.
Yeah,
it's not like teams play a certain style of game. That's how the Eagles play. They lower you out into the deep end, and then they drown you. That's how they play. And by the way, Dan talked about this.
Remember the Seinfeld episode, the libraries thing with Mr. Bookman? Bookman says to Jerry, he goes, "I've seen your type, flashy, making the scene." That's what But that's what the Eagles are not flashy and they're not making the scene, but all they do is win. All they do is win.
I mean, Angel, they had fun when Donovan McNabb was there and they had Terrell Owens and they're throwing the ball around. They lost every big game. I think he likes this model better than that model. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's the Chiefs had all these close games last year, and then the Eagles curb stomped them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Chiefs won 11 or 12 one-score games last year. This year,
and they've lost every one of them this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, it's funny, Pete. I don't get any of the "Hey, is Pat Mahomes better than Tom Brady" stuff anymore. Did something happen?
Besides that bullshit, how about remember after Patrick Mahomes is going to win. He's not going to just win 4 or 5. He's going to win 6
He's
Super
lucky
Bowls.
if he wins one more the rest of his life.
6 Super Bowls. What are you people on? Are you on drugs, as Mr. Hand would say? And
So did you hear about what Stephen A. Smith said on Friday?
What part?
About Bill Vrabel and Drake May are already better than Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I heard that. I did. Oh, how about RG3? Not RG3. Cam Newton making an absolute jackass out of himself. How he's allowed to spew that crap that comes out of go open a fashion store and get off my television.
And the Patriots are frauds. The Patriots are frauds, by the way.
But those bozos.
A lot of people think that, by the way. I'm just
because they because they hate the Patriots and because the
Patriots cut Cam. That's why Cam hates them.
What Cam does in his dress is the team is 5-0 on the road. No NFL team is 5-0 on the road. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. You can bring up schedules all you want. They still beat the Bills in Buffalo, and they won in Tampa Bay. So, I mean, you can say anything you want. They're the most unselfish team in the league, by far, the most unselfish team in the league. So they're going to keep on winning, and Cam Newton's going to still incredibly gainfully employed. The only thing good about him is his outfits. Other than that, he can kiss my ass.
And Stephon Diggs is keep having babies. So there you go.
That's it. As long as he keeps having 100-yard plus games, they're good.
He can have as many babies as he wants. He keeps playing the way he's doing it.
How was your weekend? Good?
It was good. It was, obviously the Saturday games, our buddy Bill O'Brien almost got arrested during his game. I thought he was going to get tossed.
And that was when now let's talk about that for a second. That was interesting because they were up 28-17, I believe, when he threw that little tantrum. And then things started to unravel.
He was right, by the way. The refs blew that call on the
He was right, but I think at that time to have a conniption like that and almost spontaneously combust sends the wrong message to your team. And they fell apart after that. They did.
I know, but I mean, you have our guy Meter on. Things are not good at the Heights.
No, they're not. But he informed me that I asked him.
They're getting NIL money coming in. They have things
he says that the administration is committed. Now, I don't know if they're going to spend the $6 or $7 million on a quarterback or something like that. He says he doesn't think so, but they are going to spend some money. But even if it's like for a Sellers at South Carolina, who people are saying might be going to Miami, which I hope he doesn't because I think they could do better.
You mentioned committed. I think Meter and Bill O'Brien might be getting committed if things don't get better. So I mean, it's bad. It's bad.
You have to do something. And every athletic
those are my guys. I hate watching it. I love those guys.
Every athletic program in BC, every athletic program other than the men's hockey team and women's lacrosse team is not doing well. They're all in
Isn't Dara Torres doing good with the swimming now?
Oh, maybe that.
Remember, that's Dara Torres, the Olympian. They brought her in. She's doing good with the swimming. Yeah. But no, they're going to – nobody – by the way, as you're about to say to me, nobody cares about swimming, and you're right. But I'm just – I mean, I know Dara because of the Olympics and everything out here.
Look, I hope they do well. But anyway, that's a whole other – we'll see what happens. But at least they played tough, and they were competitive the whole night. Haynes King was the man, though, when he needed to be. But I give BC a lot of credit. They should have won that. BC should have won that game. They had it. They should have won it. They had it. But that's what happens. Good teams win games like that, and bad teams lose game like that.
Praying for my buddy Bill O'B.
Yeah, me too.
So he's a good dude. I kills me watching those games. And then yesterday, to top on my weekend, what happened to poor JJ and the Vikings? Oh my God.
Well, I mean, first of all, the throw to Addison was great. Great block by Jefferson, by the way. Great block by Jefferson.
Yes.
On that play. Hey, look, when it showed me something. I know he had the 200%, but it showed me something there with him, Jay, in the fourth quarter, down the stretch, the last few minutes. He's a rookie, pretty poised down the stretch, considering what was at stake. And the special teams lost that game for the Vikings right after the touchdown on the run back.
I know. I
That's,
know.
Otherwise, that might be carrying him off like Rudy.
Pete, I had to go take a timeout. I was sitting at the bar at Pizza House, off duty, watching the game, and after Santos kicked the field goal, I had to go sit in the timeout corner. No, at work. I had to go sit there. That's where I go to be alone. Yeah. People know when Jay goes over there. Under no circumstances, come bother Jay.
Hey, nobody puts Jay in the corner.
No, I put myself in the corner. I just sat there, and everybody knows don't leave Jay alone.
But the Vikings 1-4 at home. 1-4 at home.
I know.
I look, JJ. This is his rookie year, so I don't know what.
That's my guy right there. There he is. There's JJ.
I think if they go 9-8 somehow, that's a really good season. I did not expect them.
But there's a lot there going on. Justin Jefferson acting up during the game because he's pissed. Sam Darnold, thank God, shit his pants yesterday. That was good. But I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, it kills me. JJ's a great kid, great family, and I'm praying for him. But it was tough. And like I'm texting with a bunch of his teammates, his college guys and teammates during the game, and man, everybody's pulling for him. They dropped so many balls. Addison dropped 3 or 4 balls. He's another knucklehead, and it's just tough to watch. It just kills me to watch these kids.
Angel, I see with that video. Let's punch that up here. And this was the other thing that happened in the Texas A&M South Carolina game. And this officer,
the cop,
this officer,
trooper,
was dismissed.
They fired him?
Oh yeah, they fired him.
I did not know. I thought
they fired him. He can't go to any, and he can't work any A&M games anymore. I don't know. I think he still has his job. I think he's on administrative leave or something.
Okay, I got you.
But clearly, at first I was like, because it caught me off guard, and I said, "Oh, that's really nothing."
Yeah.
Then I went and rewound.
I'm with you.
Yeah. I went and rewound it. Like, oh, he clearly gave him a double chicken wing. He clearly did that. It's just so stupid.
A badge and a gun doesn't mean you're an intelligent person, Pete. Somebody once told me that.
Double chicken wing. Get him everyone.
That is track speed.
And then afterwards it went viral, and then Texas A&M, to their credit, put out a response pretty immediately that officer was no longer going to be allowed to.
Okay. Pete, I got to roll, buddy.
Okay, buddy.
You and Angel have a good rest of the week. We'll talk again on Friday.
Okay,
how about those Bruins, baby? How about those Bruins? Angel, great job last night. Congrats. I'll talk to you later.
There you go, Jake Flanley from
He gone.
He gone. I did want to play this real quick from Lane Kiffin after the game on ESPN beating the Gators on rumors after the win. You can hear the fans wanting in Mississippi, the Gator fans that were there. Oh, hang on. That's my bad. Why is that? Oh, that's why.
Lane, given the drama of the game, the headlines surrounding it, how does it feel to come out with a W?
Well, I wouldn't think about that. I thought our guys played a really good second half. Obviously, we left the ball in the 1 and the 3 offensively, but our defense showed up. And this is a hard conference to win in, so to get to 10-1 is really awesome.
Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Here's the MVP right here.
Anyway, as the final seconds, and Mississippi came from behind, beat Florida 34-24. Gators always play them tough. Beat them last year, remember, at the end of the season. And everybody was chanting, "We want Lane, we want Lane," there at Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. So I just don't think he's going anywhere. But, oh, man, what a day. So you tired after? Do you like staying up for Sunday night games, Angel?
Not really. I mean, if it's a good game, I don't mind. But when it's just a snooze fest, like, so I don't. Especially because we get up at dark 30, just start getting things ready. But
it did come down to the wire.
It did, but even still, I think I was done at the half, right? Pretty much.
I just thought it was fascinating. I was waiting for the big breakout play from A.J. Brown. Never really happened. Never really
So
came.
was I. Between that and Saquon, I was hoping that Saquon would end up having a big night, but nope. We're back to the same old playbook.
Yep.
When one doesn't work, go to 5.
All right. Let me do a quick NBA and NHL rundown here, Angel, then we'll call it a day. How's that sound?
All right.
All right, Utah and Chicago. This was a thrill. I watched nothing last night. Celtics hung on to beat the Clippers after being up 24 points. All the Celtics do is get up double digits and blow leads, but they hung on yesterday. We'll get to that in a second. Last night, though, Utah and Chicago won in double OT.
And then some sort of a screen down. Here comes Lowry right into a pick and pop. Here's Collier, Marketing, hands it off. Keontae 3. Got it! Oh, yeah! Timeout!
Thanks to Altitude Sports. Oh, yeah. Bow, bow. Always remember it's the closing credits in Ferris Bueller.
Yep.
Day off in the bus, right? And the principal, who's dead now, I forget his name, gets on the bus, sits next to the girl, and she pulls out a gummy bear. And she's like, "Do you want this? Make you feel better. It's nice and warm because it's been in my pocket." So I always remember that song as a closing credit for coming up. San Antonio beat Sacramento 123-110. Brooklyn over Washington 129-106. Here's Nick Clausen taking flight.
Look for their veterans to kind of step up and get things going. They don't have to play through SAR anymore. Now they can go out there and be the best.
Oh, man, going upstairs for Claxton.
See it here. Let's see if he really got fouled. Great pass. Okay. A little embellishment, but still.
You know, whenever I see top 10 highlights anymore now on SportsCenter, and their NBA, any NBA dunk of any kind should be banned. It's just, I have no interest in this league right now. I don't know about you. I mean, I have interest in my Bruins. I have interest, but it's like I don't go out of my way. It's right now. I'm so football focused. Houston, a nice win in overtime over the Orlando Magic.
Thompson looking.
That's it.
Oh, Şengün got the
That's it, I told you.
Hit the hook shot at the horn, and the game is tied at 102. And we've got bonus basketball tonight inside of Toyota Center. Pandemonium inside the building.
With the excellent ability to pass. Watch the direct snap pass. And you got Reed out here
I
to
told
spread
you.
the defense. Great drop there. And again, everything's live, so you got to respect the three-point
The
line.
basketball was counted. The ball cleared the net at point 2, and that'll be put back on the game.
Stop popping your pee.
No team will be able to substitute in this situation unless there's a timeout taken by Orlando.
So there will be point 2. We're not officially yet in overtime.
Yeah, it goes into overtime. Houston wins 117-113. Golden State over New Orleans.
Alvarado with Buddy Hield playing the D. Good hands. So Steph, Buddy Hield, Pajemski with Al Horford and GP2. Curry for 3, and there it is.
How about that? Curry making a 3. That doesn't happen ever. Golden State beats New Orleans 124-106. Another overtime game in Dallas.
Yeah.
Crowd shading sharp.
I like that.
Abdia with a bounce pass through traffic. And Coop comes out of there with a steal. Oh, nice handles. Cuts to the basket. Yermos and finishes with a foul.
How about that? Cooper flag right there, but P.J. Washington with the play.
Yes, he has. Got it back to Williams. He ran past Lively. Lake clock. Driving on Sharpest. Christie. He twirls. He passes. They got it up and away. Oh, my.
That's huge. Oh, PJ.
That put him up 108-106. It goes into overtime. Dallas wins 138-133. Atlanta and a barn burner with Phoenix as well. Do we have the game winner? We do not. So that's the end of that. All right, to the NHL we go. The Tampa Bay Lightning were ahead 2-1 until this happened in the third period.
Besser, top of the circle. Tampa player trying to defend without a stick. It deflects in. Besser threw it on goal, and I think it hit the Tampa player Moser in front.
Yeah, it went off Moser's skate at the front of the net. Here's Chernak without a stick. He's going to try and block it, and it looks like Besser's trying to go for DeBrusque.
I think it may be Sherwood just off the heel. I don't know.
Underneath the bottom of the shaft of his stick.
thrown around by the Lightning. Canucks get it back. Mackenzie McEachern gets it again. Backhands one, scores! A long-range backhander. Carlson was in front.
The puck does not get out at the line. Kept alive, and then McEachern loses it, gets it back, backhand offering, and a battle at the front of the net as McEachern gets it there.
Cross, and Kane couldn't take the pass cleanly. Now he gets it back to Hronek. Near side to Hughes. Quinn Hughes moves to the middle. Tries a long wrist shot. Tipped in! Canucks have another one.
Try to deke out Gord and then get it right to the front of the net. And O'Connor is ready to tip. Gets away from Bjorkstrand. Past the...
Vancouver 3 goals, Angel, in 1 minute and 40 seconds, and they shell-shocked Tampa Bay last night at Amalie 6-2. Minnesota and Vegas in a barn burner as well. This is a great ending right here.
Zuccarello back to Boldy, a shot. Ericsson's tip went wide. Zuccarello on it to Boldy. Back to Zuccarello. Across Kaprizov. He scores! Carell wins it for the Wild!
The Wild were looking for shots. They set it up. They get it. Boy, that's not an easy one-timer for Kaprizov either. From that angle, it's off the front foot, but he's able to get it off the heel of the...
There you go. Thanks to FanDuel Minnesota right there. Before that, by the way, Vancouver Sportsnet Canada for that call. Detroit and the Rangers.
Raymond. Lucas Raymond in. Little stutter step there. Raymond driving around the goal. Raymond still with it. Raymond's got the opening. He scores! What a beautiful goal! Oh my! Lucas Raymond, and it's 2-1 with under 4 to play.
He knows they got the lead. Larkin wants to pass. He delays everything. Oh, absolutely. Look at that reaction. Oh my goodness. It's been a while. But nothing sweeter than this one. Rangers all over the place. Quick. Not quick enough on this one. And on the 41st shot of the night, the Red Wings have the lead with 3:47 left in the third. What a play.
A goal and...
Yep. Oswego, Colorado beat the Islanders 4-1, and then in Sweden, Pittsburgh beat Nashville 4-0. All right, Angel, what else is coming up on the network today?
Let's see. Today be Monday, so you have Lloyd Vance's Insider Football coming up here this evening at 8 p.m. Lloyd Vance, Kevin Midget. You guys can catch all the NFL recaps plus some insider detail this evening at 8 p.m. right here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
All right, I am Pete. I am back tomorrow. I think Bill Burt will be joining me from the Eagle Tribune to try to get our good friend Mia O'Brien on. She hasn't been on in a couple of weeks as well. Talk about the Jaguars' big win and all the stuff about what she's expecting from the College Football Playoff Committee from ESPN Radio. And God only knows who else. Angel, great job today. As always, thanks to Jay Flanley from Bees World. Thanks to all of you for listening. Don't forget to check us out. If you go to the Odyssey app or wherever you are, it's on my Facebook page. If you go to one of the apps that's not viewing, don't worry about if you hear music or something else. You'll eventually hear all the shows will be on it, right? Between Odyssey and 1029, SR 1029 The Game. Correct, Angel?
Correct. Yeah. There's some more updates coming up this week, so there'll be more shows uploaded, but in between, yes, you will hear music.
All righty. So thanks a lot, everybody. And we will be back tomorrow morning at 7 in the a.m. The Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Bye-bye. Happy Monday.